Tonight on Joy News Prime, 17 people killed in an accident involving a Sprinter minibus and an articulated truck at Abofo Forest on the Ofinso-Techiman Highway. Police heading to the Supreme Court to seek interpretation of immunity clauses regarding MPs as Parliament continues to prevent the police from interrogating Madina MP Francis Sosu.
Police can go further to look for further interpretation, at the Apex Court, at the Supreme Court for future guidance in our operations.
We have details as Interior Minister Ambrose Derry dissents on Speaker of Parliament for his interpretation of the immunity clauses regarding MPs. Also in this bulletin, a victim of witchcraft accusation and an attack that nearly ended her life. We will hear the story of 61-year-old Mary Ibrahim, who is still crying for justice.
No more job is
The young men besieged my home and started accusing me. Before I could talk, they started slapping me and they slashed me with a machete.
And in business,
ENI considers out-of-court mediation on the current impasse with Springfield Oil and unitization of the Afina and Sankofa oil fields.
Not too sure anybody wants to waste time and money at the International Court of Arbitration. So if they want to agree to an out-of-court settlement, then I think it's a step in the right direction.
Joy News Prime is coming to you live from our Fauna First Studios in Kokom Limley here in Accra. We are live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144 and DTT because we're free to air. This is your home of independent, fearless, credible and impactful journalism. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Do stay tuned in. Many thanks for choosing us. 17 persons, including 10 children, have died in an accident involving a Sprinter minibus and an articulated truck at Abofo Forest, a spot on the Ofinso-Techiman Highway. 16 others are in critical condition at the St. Patrick's Hospital at Ofinso. Preliminary police investigations indicate the articulated truck driver was sleep driving when he crashed into the commercial Sprinter bus, which was headed towards Techiman from Kumasi. Let's now speak with Erastus Asari Donko, who's been on this beat for us. Erastus, first of all, we understand there are 10 children who are among the 16 who have lost their lives. How many males and females are involved, and have their identities been ascertained?
Well, so what we do know for now is that 17 people have been confirmed dead. Out of this 17, 10 of them are children between the ages of 6 months and 3 years. And we found their footwear, very, very small footwear, and their clothing at the scene of the accident. And we have 6 women who also died. These are, of course, mothers to these babies. We have 1 man as part of the dead. Now we have 16 others who have life-threatening injuries, who are currently receiving treatment, including the driver of the articulated truck at the St. Patrick Hospital at Ofinso.
What more have you gathered from the police with regards to this accident?
Well, so preliminary investigations, according to DSP Edmond Nyameche, who is the head of the Ofinso Divisional MTTD, he says that their preliminary investigation indicates that the driver was sleep driving. And so when you get to the scene, you see signs of that because the articulated truck was coming in from the Techiman Kintampo end towards Kumasi. The Sprinter bus was going from Kumasi towards Techiman. If you see how the tire marks of the articulated truck are on the ground, you could see that it started veering off the main road, his lane, towards that of the Sprinter bus and crashed into the Sprinter bus, dragged him off the road into the bush there. So inside the bush, you could see all the blood and all the some of the body parts, on the ground over there. So that is what they are saying, that their preliminary investigation show that the driver was dozing off.
How are the 16 others who are currently in the hospital faring?
Well, they are okay for now, and authorities are still monitoring them. They are saying that, they will monitor them to see if anybody needs critical attention that they cannot provide at the Ofenso Hospital. They will be transferred tonight to the Komfo Teaching Hospital. But for now, they are responding to treatment.
We can now listen to the police on their preliminary investigations.
But the early hours of today, that was about 0300 hours to 4. Thereabout, we had an information that there was an accident at Abofor camp, or Abofor forest, if you like. But we rushed to the scene, and there was this sprinter bus that was loaded with passengers from Kumasi towards Techimai. Then the articulator truck 2 was also loaded with goods. The content I can't tell, but it was also heading to Kumasi from Techimai. On reaching a section at Abofor Forest, it was alleged the driver of the articulator truck veered off his lane and ran into the lane of the sprinter bus, thereby hitting the sprinter bus and then dragging it to a distance. But 17 were confirmed dead when we got to the hospital, and then 16 of the passengers currently are injured, sustained severe injury, and are receiving treatment at St. Patrick's Hospital of Ofenso. For now, the dead have been conveyed to the morgue for preservation and autopsy, whilst the injured 2 are being treated. In fact, we are monitoring the injured.
Now, Erastus, do we know if the drivers survived this? If they did, what are their accounts?
Well, so it's only the articulated truck driver who survived, but currently he's in critical condition, and he cannot be interrogated at the moment, according to the police and hospital officials. But the other driver did not survive. Unfortunately, he died.
Erastus Asare Donko is our man following this for us. Now, the Ghana Police Service is heading to the Supreme Court to seek interpretation of some constitutional provisions which have been used to shield MPs from being arrested or even interrogated by the police. The police have been on the heels of MP for Medina, Francis Susu, who, for his involvement in a violent demonstration over roads in his constituency last week. The police's attempt to invite the MP to assist in investigations has so proven unsuccessful after the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, refused to release him. ACP Kwesifori says the service will require the interpretation of the court to guide future arrests of MPs.
That also, to date, the Honorable Member of Parliament has not surfaced. So the police resolved, to use some tactical ops, to let him know that, one, they know where he is and where, he's going. And they met him at the church, and their presence through those tactical moves were noticed. And so the Honorable Member of Parliament did not turn up. All that we are saying is the police would have used all necessary force to apprehend him since he was at that premises, but they did not. And it's one part of our moves. But all that we want to say is, as an Honorable Member of Parliament involved in the formulation of laws, he should just, submit to police authority by coming, to write statement. We know that the police has a big role and mandate under our democratic system, where the Constitution has made it clear refusal to appear before the police is not a good thing. We have options, and we might be looking at the other options that will make him to be compelled, before the law, and we will pursue those options. And even when we wrote to the Honorable Speaker of Parliament, the answer to us, those clauses and enumerated, the police can go further to look for further interpretation, at the Apex Court, as the Supreme Court, for future guidance in our operations to make us to be more focused. It will be well directed, to know whether we are all equal before the law.
Leadership of the minority has also been responding to the concerns of the police. And according to Minority Leader Haruna Iddrisu, he says Parliament is not shielding the MP. Haruna Iddrisu says if the processes and procedures are followed, he will personally walk the MP to the police and insist several MPs have cooperated with the police, but only when the right channels are used.
The Speaker is simply demanding respect for process and procedures. The Speaker will never stand the way of justice, obstruct law enforcement. A head-on collusion between Parliament and the IGP and the police is not healthy for our democracy. We need to encourage the IGP, but on this matter, I believe strongly that he's overstepping his bounds.
There are those who say that Parliament is overextending the limitations of Article 117 to your advantage, as we have it. You are a lawyer. Is there confusion regarding the interpretation of this law that perhaps we might need a Supreme Court to fully establish under what circumstances this can be applied?
Probably. MPs have been questioned. MPs have been investigated. Since 1992, no Speaker will stand the way of law enforcement agencies. More importantly, we are a country governed by law. What the Speaker is seeking to do is not to prevent the arrest of any member of Parliament or the investigation of any member of Parliament. Indeed, evidence abounds that many and several MPs have been questioned and investigated by law enforcement agencies. Some have had to even go on trial. And the facts are in the open. Therefore, there is no effort, and there will be no effort by the institution of Parliament and the Speaker and his leadership to want to place any member of Parliament above the law.
Meanwhile, as this brouhaha over whether the police can arrest an MP or serve court processes on them unfolds, a case involving MP for Boko Central, Mahama Yarega, gave a court the opportunity to make a pronouncement on this. My colleague Kweku Asante joins me with details on this. Kweku, what was the MP's defense?
All right, so the MP, just like many other members of Parliament in the past, have claimed parliamentary immunity, whether on their way to Parliament or on their way back from Parliament, to say that because of that, they will not be served. There have been several instances where the police may have argued that these persons were not even on their way to or from Parliament. Even this matter involving Sosu, where he was at a church. And so when this matter came up, what Mahama Yarega wanted to do was to evade service. But the court pronounced on it, that is the High Court, said something. He said, and I quote, while appreciating the very important duty that these most respected lawyers are engaged in as legislators, there will be no situation, to borrow the words of Justice Adinira, in the case of conducting the business of the court as though it is secondary to that of counsel or any else, for that matter within the confines of the proper exercise of judicial discretion. This court will be sure to deliver justice on its mandate to preside over this trial, like all others before it, in a fashion that will terminate timelessly. And so this High Court judge continues to make the point that although these members of Parliament may be engaged in certain state business, it is the duty and responsibility of the police as well as the court to do substantial justice. And so any acts from Parliament or from these members that will impede the effective distribution and effective implementation of justice will not be countenanced. And so although this is a High Court judge speaking, this is not the Supreme Court, and so it's in this line that the police are saying that they are going to the Supreme Court to seek interpretation. But whilst this rages on, the Madina MP himself has put out a statement responding to some of the issues that the police have been raising. He says, for instance, that there was no particular point in time where he is evaded arrest. He's been telling in the statement that he released that what the police have been seeking to do has been unlawful, and if they were minded to invite him, they should have written to the speaker first and foremost. But also some persons who were arrested and were sent to the police station, according to this Madina MP statement, he actually went to the police station and actually secured the bail. At no point in time did the police even make any attempt at that time to arrest him. No charges have been leveled against those who were arrested. They were just granted unconditional bail. He's been saying that the police have been peddling falsehoods to the public as though they wanted to cause some sympathy and also to pitch him against the public. And so, as far as he's concerned, none of the issues that the police have so far raised are true, but as though if the police have any serious issues against him, he's always ready to avail himself to that investigation.
My colleague Kweku Asante with details of a response from the Madina MP who's being hunted for by the police. Now to other stories. She became a victim of a witchcraft accusation and subsequently an attack that nearly ended her life because her attacker said she used juju to make her business successful. Over 1 year after surviving a life-threatening attack, Mary Ibrahim, a 61-year-old woman, is still crying for justice. Her case was settled out of court. She wants the Ghana police to reopen her case and bring perpetrators to book. Here are excerpts of the Hotline documentary, Finding the Witch Hunters by Jojo Kobna.
Said we are successful in the trading, so we use juju.
That is the story of Mary Ibrahim, a resident of Sumpini in the Damango constituency in the Savannah region. She has now been compelled to relocate to another community.
The young men besieged my home and started accusing me. Before I could talk, they started slapping me and they slashed me with a machete. I started bleeding in the nose and mouth. I was confused, so I asked them why they were attacking me. They said I was a witch, and I was shocked. I asked, have I killed anyone? Have I made anyone sick? So why are you attacking me? Their fathers supported them. Their fathers told them to kill me. They hurt my child's eye. But they chased me and started slashing me with a machete. They cut off my 2 fingers. My neighbor came to my rescue.
Producer for Finding the Witch Hunters, Jojo Kobina, joins us via Zoom for more on this. Jojo, I am curious to know why such barbaric act was settled out of court. But of course, there must be a reason for doing this piece.
Well, the main reason why I did this documentary was to catalog the number of violations, accusations that have gone on, the number of attacks that have gone on that authorities have not settled, that government has not settled, that Attorney General, that the state prosecutors have not gone in to follow up. And this case was a clear case which was widely reported. Many people were very worried about it because of the graffiti. You saw that they slashed the woman's side face, the arm, chopped off her fingers. So the gravity of the particular case, you could think that, this case will be settled in court. But unfortunately, the case was not settled in court. It was settled out of court. Money was given to the lady. And then, according to her, she felt very pressured and she agreed. She didn't really agree. It was the big brother who actually agreed to the settlement of the particular case. So I just wanted to connect how sometimes traditional authorities, opinion leaders get into cases like this, and then impunity continues. And so you really have to watch this particular documentary, which comes out at 8:30, and it will give you the details as to who attacked who. There's this one case where they tested the woman to see whether she was a witch or not. And then it turned out that the woman was not a witch according to their own rituals. The people were very unhappy with it. So they attacked the woman. They were trying to cut her off her neck, and then she blocked it, and then they chopped off her arm. So the cases are very serious, but unfortunately, none of the cases have been prosecuted going to court, and it is quite worrying.
So what does Mary want right now? She wants the case to be reopened. What does she want exactly? All right, so Jojo Kobna will join us again. The Hotline documentary, Finding the Witch Hunters, will be airing at 8:30 after this bulletin. Jojo is back. Jojo, I wanted to find out what the woman really wants right now, as she wants the court to reopen her case.
The woman wants justice. The woman said, okay, they gave me money for medical bills, but I want the people to feel what I felt, because she could have died. And according to the physician assistant, when the woman came, the woman was in a very critical condition. If it wasn't for the defensive wounds covering her neck and parts of her body, it could have killed her. So the woman wants the people who perpetrated the act to be brought to book. And the interesting thing is that she knows the names of all the people. And in the documentary, she lists all the names of the people who did that to her. And she's calling for governments to come to her aid, to come and make sure that this case is settled properly, and not just a compensation and not just money being thrown out, so that the case will be settled quickly.
Jojo Kobna is the producer for Finding the Witch Hunters. It is at 8:30. Make a date for the full documentary. Now, 2 times rejected a nominee for the job in Municipal Assembly, Alex Safo Kantanka, is demanding monies paid to assembly members for his endorsement after the members did contrary. Sources say an amount of 5,000 cedis was paid to each of the 26 assembly members to aid his endorsement. It took police intervention to prevent further assaults on Echuma Mwabieja South MP Emmanuel J. Anwere and assembly members by supporters of the nominee.
Unipa ena mfumso eba ne nchen. Samayo obi abone na samafum obi a ende dey.
In the first election to confirm the nominee, Alex Safo Kantanka, only 5 of 26 ballot cast were in his favor. The election was subsequently postponed for various reasons after the president renominated him for the second time. The nominee in the second election could garner only 10 votes out of the total 26, with 1 being rejected. Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei Mensah, who had earlier called on the members to put behind all misgivings against the nominee, expressed his disappointment. One of the assembly members, Patrick Yeboah, claims he was assaulted by the nominee outside the conference room after the election. He was prevented from retaliating. Supporters of the nominee massed up at the assembly grounds, threatening to assault all assembly members locked up in the building.
Hey, this is serious, so they are not allowing the regional minister to go.
The police had to whisk away the Ashanti Regional Minister, Simon Osei Mensah, from mob action. Representative of the Ashanti Caucus of MPs, Emmanuel J. Anwere, was also assaulted by the mob. Here are some of the persons in support of the nominee.
We were very disappointed because the whole constituency executives wrote a letter approving the nomination of Chamaluta to the president. So when we heard about those things on radio, we were surprised. And the rumors that we have been hearing that the MP is behind all these things.
The nominee around the same period went into the Assembly's conference room where the members were gathered in demand of refund of alleged money paid to the Assembly members.
Who said it for something? Oh, I'm a visitor. Hello? I'm a visitor. I'm someone here. Okay. I'm a visitor. Yes, Kano. Oh, no, I mean, who said
The police intervened to march out the nominee.
Though police have surrounded the building, the assembly members are unwilling to come out. From Jabin for Joy News, Nana Ojima reporting.
I'm back in the studio in Accra. My name is Aisha Ibrahim, and still to come in business, ANI considers out-of-court mediation on the current impasse with Springfield Oil on unitization of Afina and Sankofa oil fields.
I'm sure anybody wants to waste time and money at the International Court of Arbitration. So if they want to agree to an out-of-court settlement, then I think it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, welcome to Business. I'm Charles Aite. Italian oil firm ENI is considering an out-of-court mediation on the current impasse with Springfield Oil on the unitization of the Afina and Sankofa oil fields. This is what Joy Business has picked up from persons with knowledge about the current stalemate between the two oil exploration firms. It is, however, not clear for now what might have influenced the move by the Italian oil firm. This is because ENI earlier this year filed a case at the London International Court of Mediation seeking to reverse the directive from the government to merge the oil fields. Speaking earlier on Business Live, energy expert and the executive director of the Kumasi Institute of Technology and Environment, Ishmael Ejekum-Hine, said that this is the right choice.
If it's confirmed, I think it's a good move because I'm not too sure anybody wants to waste time and money at the International Court of Arbitration. So if they want to agree to an out-of-court settlement, then I think it's a step in the right direction.
And in relation to that, what particular signal do you think this could send the investor community?
Well, first of all, I think if they choose to not to go to court, I mean, we've just heard that they've lost a case recently. So if that's an indication that the Minister of Energy is after all right, then what the signal it sends to the international community is that in Ghana we respect the rule of law, and if we feel strongly about, if you feel strongly about something, you can take it to court and the court would give you a fair hearing. If you're not satisfied and want to go to International Court of Arbitration, Ghana has shown that they are prepared to meet you there. So to the investor community, it's a sign that the rule of law works as far as business dealing in Ghana are concerned. I've heard the argument that the delay is costing us, and that's important. We have to resolve this issue very quickly so that at least the unitization will go ahead and the oil, they'll start developing the field.
Away from that, the Minister for Communications and Digitalization, Ursula Owusu-Ekufo, has hinted that plans are underway to introduce a mobile application that will aid in self-registration in the ongoing national SIM card registration. According to her, as of the end of last week, only 2 million of the population have been able to register successfully, a situation she describes as a bit low considering the number of SIM cards to be registered nationwide, hence the need for the app to aid in the exercise. She spoke to Joy Business after receiving an award as Digital Leader of the Year in this year's Ghana Information Technology and Telecom Awards. We have more in this report.
The compulsory SIM card registration exercise began 4 weeks ago nationwide for all mobile phone users to register their numbers and SIM cards. According to the Communication and Digitalization Minister, Ursula Owusu-Ekufo, only about 2 million SIM cards have been registered so far out of the 40 million cards in the system. She thinks this has become necessary for the introduction of the self-registration app.
Dead serious about deactivating SIMs that are not registered at the end of March 2022. So if you haven't registered your SIM card, please see your service provider and get it done. I think in the next few weeks, we will even release a self-registration app which will enable people to register themselves using the SIM registration app. We're working towards that, and we hope that that will spur up the uptake. I think just about 2 million people have registered their SIMs so far. That's a little on the low side. We have 40 million SIMs to register, people. And so please go out there and register all your SIM cards.
The award she received on the 9th is a recognition of her leadership role in digitalizing the economy. Meanwhile, the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, received the Best Award for using ICT in driving efficiency. Its Chief Executive, Akwesi Ajuman-Busia, also received the Public Sector IT Leadership Award. Director for Driving, Training and Testing at the DVLA, Prosper Kafui, believes the recognition will spur the agency on to churn out more digital innovations.
Training, we are restructuring our training to be supported by technology, and we've already even started. If you look at our testing regimes now, it is computer-based. However, what we are doing now is to move to a level where people who do not have the skills in computer can still access our services. So we are at a point where we are going to introduce voice over our tests in local languages, and we have selected 6 local languages to do this. These are Ewega, Hausa, Twi, and then Inzima. The whole idea is that whilst we are introducing technology, we do not want to compromise standards, and we do not also want to leave people behind. We want to bring everybody on board. So we look at solutions that will bring everybody, or to make it possible for everybody to access our services. And that is where we are heading towards now.
Chief Executives of Vodafone Ghana and MTN Ghana received the Industry Personality of the Year and CEO of the Year award respectively.
Well, we'll still stay with awards because your favorite business news brand, Joy Business, has been honored as the best business news brand of the year for its outstanding business news report in the country. Now, the prestigious award was conferred on the Multimedia Group brand at the 4th edition of the Ghana Business Awards held over the weekend. It jointly won the award with Graphic Business. We have more in this report.
Prestigious award was conferred on Joy Business at the 4th edition of the Ghana Business Awards held over the weekend. The Joy Business and Graphic Business teams were commended for their outstanding reportage on business-related issues in the country and abroad. In all, 65 individuals and institutions, both private and public, received recognition for their excellent performance and impacts on the social-economic development of Ghana. Some award winners for the 9th expressed their excitement.
The Little Car, we've been around for about 2, getting to 3 years. And to win the award for Discovery of the Year, I think for us it's a combination of a lot of the good work that we've done, and it indicates that the good work that we are doing is being recognized, it's being seen, and the impact is being felt.
For us, this award is very, very meaningful, and we take CSR very, very seriously, because whatever we do, we have to give back to the community for their support and encouragement.
ADK Consortium is an engineering firm, and then we are basically into construction and consultancy. So this award means a lot to us. It means we are recognized in Ghana so far, and then we are aiming at going worldwide.
It's a big congratulations to the entire team at Blochem Industries. We are very excited that our excellent products and services have been acknowledged by the Ghanaian business community. And so it means that we should continue the good work, we should continue the good quality and standards we put into the production and also distribution of our products.
The award scheme seeks to recognize and award individuals and organizations which have risen beyond all odds to achieve excellence in their various fields of expertise and practice. James Eshen's report for Joy Business.
Meanwhile, head of Joy Business, Odilia Intiamwa, has stated that the team will leverage the recognition to better serve the business community.
We have offered good platform for our clients, and then we have consistently delivered audience share to them to be able to sell whatever they are looking for. So I believe that this is what we've been doing so far, and I must add that any program that we have also been coming up with in these times have also been based on data. Data.
Exactly. Especially in this world of fake news and where people just can't get a grasp of the cracks of stories. But I'm also very keen on, of course, as a reporter with Joy Business, having to break down the stories for our audience to quite understand. But help us understand what this will mean for the brand Joy Business and maybe the multimedia group.
Well, it's just a continuous stamp, for our brand, to say that we are the go-to people for the best of event collaborations. We're the best or the go-to place for authentic business news. We're the go-to place for institutions that want to run business-related projects and for these people to really work together with us. And we are not actually going to really rest on our oars. We're actually still going to be working and doing a bit more than we have currently done with just 7 people. We do a lot of magic at Joy Business.
I can understand. A bit for business.
Hello there, Hans Menzando here with the Sports on Joy News Prime. The Ghana Boxing Authority is in the process of acquiring 10 belts for domestic competition in a bid to develop the sport in the country. Now, currently, only 2 national title belts are available for competitions, with boxers mandated to return the title belt 7 days after being crowned champion. Speaking on Sports Today, GBA General Secretary Patrick Johnson said his outfit will soon remedy the situation.
The new administration led by Abraham Kotel Nikwe has plan of bringing in more title belts to enable boxers whenever they win the national title belts, they will, keep it. But for now, we just have 2 that is returnable, which when a boxer wins a national title belt, he will keep it for like a week or 2, then he will return it to the office. But now we've gone in for new ones, which are on its way coming, and very soon we are going to have 10 new national title belts that will be presented to every boxer who wins a title, and it's going to be for keep.
How worrisome has this been for the Ghana Boxing Authority? Because you have a key mandate of motivating boxers, and if for me to win a national title belt and you can keep it for just 1 week, I feel just maybe some boxers will be demoralized.
Not demoralized per se, but that is the situation we find ourselves into, and we are trying our possible best to, manage it and also go beyond it. That's the reason why I said from the beginning that although it wasn't all that good for National Boxing Authority, but the new administration now is going to rectify things and making sure that things are going to move forward, and boxing is going to be set at the top sporting discipline as well.
So how many belts are coming?
10 new title belts. And even it's supposed to be in, but it delayed in Dubai, but we've been able to rectify things, and very soon we are going to receive it. So now every boxer that wins the national title belt is going to keep it for good.
Executive Committee member of the Ghana Football Association, Dr. Tony Obin, has defended the decision of the football governing body to introduce the no vaccination, no entry policy at Ghana Premier League match venues, despite the FA making a paltry 300,000 Ghana cedis from gate proceeds last season. Dr. Obin said they are using football to encourage people to get vaccinated.
I think it's quite obvious that one cannot gamble his or her health for pleasure, for example. So it is important that people who go to enjoy football do not put themselves at risk. I think that it is just to be cautious. It's a precaution. We want to consume the product of football, but we need to also take care of our health. COVID is not gone yet. It's not gone. I don't know whether it will ever go, but it is important that we take precautions so that we can consume our product whilst we feel safe, as far as our health is concerned.
Now, Tottenham are in advanced negotiations with former Chelsea boss Antonio Conte about becoming their new manager. Chairman Daniel Levy and Managing Director Fabio Paratici are moving quickly to secure a replacement following Nuno Espirito Santo's sacking on Monday after 4 months in charge. Now let's get into some Ghana Premier League match day 1 statistics. Some really interesting numbers posted after the first day of games. Total of 9 matches played, 17 goals scored 5 wins recorded across the various match venues, and a total of 4 draws also recorded. There were 3 home wins and 2 teams won away from home, 6 clean sheets kept, and 1.89 goals per game scored. And of course, you can read more on the Ghana Premier League. And of course, the latest from around the world of sports at myjoyonline.com/sports. I am Hans Mensah. Many thanks for your time.
Welcome back to the rest of our stories. And health authorities in the Ashanti region are targeting groups in a bid to get more people vaccinated against the COVID-19 disease. The region has so far vaccinated about 700,000 residents, representing 11% of the region's total population of 6 million. Ashanti region has taken delivery of 461,908 doses of Moderna and Pfizer vaccines to kickstart phase 2 of the vaccination exercise. Deputy Ashanti Regional Health Director in charge of Public Health, Dr. Roxanne Michael Ejay, told journalists the region is out of the woods in the third wave of COVID-19.
Health authorities are targeting to vaccinate 4 million people, representing 66% of the region's 6 million population. This, they say, would grant the region the needed herd immunity against COVID-19. Deputy Ashanti Regional Health Director in charge of Public Health, Dr. Roxanne Michael Ejay, told journalists groups such as religious bodies will need to be vaccinated free of charge through special arrangement.
The government of Ghana, through COVAX and other diplomatic arrangements, has received Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. The Ashanti region has been allocated 184,800 doses of Moderna and 277,108 doses of Pfizer. These vaccines will be deployed in all districts alongside the others that are already in use starting today. All the vaccines have comparable efficacies and safety profiles and offer protection against variants of the virus. There is no cause for alarm. Let's remind ourselves that COVID-19 vaccines protect against severe disease and deaths, but not getting infected. So continue to observe the protocols if even you are fully vaccinated. The Ashanti Regional Health Directorate has made concession for groups that want to be vaccinated at their convenience to contact the Deputy Director, Public Health, for arrangement at no cost.
Meanwhile, the region has recorded 20,710 cumulative cases, with 382 COVID-19 deaths so far. Health authorities say though the region's third wave is over, it is not out of the woods yet of COVID-19. Dr. Ejay explained.
Unfortunately, we lost 382 people. And last week, we had a total of 12 confirmed cases, that's new cases. And we know that this one, comparatively, is a drop in the ocean, if we know where we've come from. Some months back, we used to record over thousands of cases weekly. But thankfully, with your support and the adherence from the general public, we're able to beat down COVID-19 to this low record.
From Kumasi, for Joy News, Oimi Interior reporting.
And here in Accra, after 5 days of searching, prospective homeowners who visited the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair say they have been educated to enable them make the best decision on housing needs. Exhibitors who brought in discounted packages for lands, affordable housing, furniture, electricals, home insurance, assorted paints, and many more also said their expectations have been met. Hannah Odami was at the Accra International Conference Center for the final day and has filed this report.
I was confused when I was coming in as to whether to buy or to rent and own or whatever it is. But I'm so convinced now that I have to buy.
And that's how the dilemma on whether to build or to buy was settled at the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. 5 days of getting everything for your housing needs under one roof. And the patrons say they've been spoiled for choice.
We are putting up a place and we want to finish it, so we are looking at and coming here. You know, it's not easy to get all the people under one place. And when we came, we were able to talk to people and then we got information. I have few offers and then, so I think you're a friend and you are doing very well and I'm happy about it.
For the CCTV, I need it for my school and then also the borehole. I took advantage of it and also the paints. And also, like, my school is in the waterlogged area, so I was having challenges with dumping. So I spoke to one company in that area and then they gave me products that are going to help me. So it's been good.
No, it's the best, but that's why I'm here. Because I knew if I come here, I'll get everything that I will need for my project. So I think I'm okay. Sure. If I tell people say they'll give me 10%, 50%, if I should get in touch. So I've taken the contact, I've always get in touch with them to take advantage of the promotion going on.
And the discounts on their products saw the exhibitors smiling to the many clients who trooped to their stands.
So it has been a wonderful experience. In fact, we've had a lot of traffic at our stand here. I must commend Joy FM for this initiative. It's been good. We've got a lot of people coming to our stand to know more about us and want to do business with us. So we are happy and it's worthwhile coming.
It's been very good, as a matter of fact. We've had a lot of patronage, and I think our promotions and discounts, which you publicize a lot, is what everybody's interested in. So we're offering $5,000 off anybody that for anything you buy with us, and if you lock it in. And so far, we ran out of one of our limits, but we're still extending it.
This fair was a good place to be at, so that we can connect with homeowners and builders and see what we could do. And I mean, the fair gave us the opportunity to be able to do that network, and I've enjoyed my time here, and I'm looking forward to next year's.
For now, the fair is over, but the offers and the deals still exist, and the exhibitors are waiting for your call. From the Accra International Conference Center, I am Hannah Odami for Joy News.
Effective November 1, all tricycles, also known as Aboboya, have been banned from plying the busiest highway in the Greater Accra region, the Accra-Tema Motorway. Motorists plying the highway welcome the decision, and on just the first day, they say it's been less hectic driving on the motorway without the Aboboya drivers. Joy News reporter Michael Papania Shali was there to observe the scene and has come through with this report.
This is the Tema Accra Motorway, arguably one of the most busiest highways in the capital. As you can see behind me, with many cars speeding away at unbelievable speeds. On this motorway, it's 90 kilometers per hour or above. However, this is not the case every day, as some tricycles who can barely make 60 kilometers per hour ply this route every morning, causing many challenges for motorists and pedestrians. That is not the situation, as they continue to defy the orders of the minister.
Almost over 2,000 people. Well, they say motorway, we for not pass motorway. So what work they will do, give us. Now I go find how I go manage then, because now no, if they say we for not pass motorway, Kurana number born number and then no Bobia, so Mukuma, I am Mama Mukumi.
Because Wakasa, because we shall be the boa a fatty so. If you're there, then you're for to boil for one, we used to boil and a buffer boiler fee. Madina now crab as some quackon. Oh, yeah, we will go in Quanchen. I won't tamper because when it's an you follow the free, you crack a follow the free, or about a shaman, yes, you're not done boy. Because you use also I walk acquired the way you put my far crack, like a for the anab and seeing a beardino. And to shame bless me and Femoto, I'm saying soon to be a man because of umbrelling to Quankafa.
So he makes the case that possibly there should be an exemption to the categories of tricycles that will not be allowed to ply there. He says that it's an essential route that he has to use to cut goods from some major cities around, particularly from Accra, and bring it all the way to Ashaiman. We've been talking to some motorists as well, and they welcome the move and say it's been better on just the first day without Aboboya riders on the motorway.
My name is Pakwesi, aka Scanty, from Ewutubo. Right now, they help us because from La Paz to Tema, it no be small journey, but the road circle no be good. So right now, they go help us.
How they see the way them they drive for the road top, the Aboboya people?
Oh, you no good at all. Sometimes you see it be N1, you're supposed to go speed, but because of them go delay you, and if you make some small overtaking, then some accident will come. So right now they'll be good for us.
So you just heard from one of the motorists who says that plying the motorway without tricycle users is much better of an experience than what it was before. Well, we hear from some more of them and what they make of the situation as at now without Aboboya riders on the Accra-Tema motorway.
My name is David. They have to sack them on the road because last time I had an accident on the road. I hit somebody back because of the Aboboya. We are speeding up, but unfortunately the Aboboya stopped immediately. So immediately I saw the car. When I applied the brake, I hit the back of the car. So I have to go and buy the bumper for the person.
But you've used the highway already today. How has the driving experience been for you?
Today it was very free-flow. Because early in the morning when we are going to La Paz, like it will take you about 1 or 2 hours before you get there. But today I used about almost 40 minutes.
I'm Adams. Aboboya motors on the motorway is very dangerous and it is worrying the drivers on the motorway. Okay, this morning I came from Accra. When I was coming, I didn't see them on the motorway, and I'm going back. So I'm sure that maybe because of the ban, I can go through without seeing them on the motorway again.
Your friend me Kwabra Ansan Derrick Jr. Aboboya eye afidie bia ekonya. Eti se wodi wanimu a obehu ano na wasan akroso. Na akoso accident. Me na motor use de bia me hu kra mehu Aboboya wakoso trader accident under bridge.
In prior to SHS, Ghana Senior High School, Koforidia and Okwapeman School have qualified for the elimination stages of the ongoing National Science and Maths Quiz Championship. They will be facing stronger opposition when the 1/8 stage begins sometime next week, with the 27th NSMQ Giants or seeded schools joining from this level. Maxwell Agbagba has more in this report featuring Okwapeman School and Ghana Senior High School, Koforidia.
Okwapeman School has qualified for the 1/8 stage of the ongoing National Science and Maths Quiz in Kumasi. It was a close shave, a narrow escape for them. Many of them are excited that they've qualified for the next stage. Come to me. What's your name?
My name is Kransela Tivia Mia.
Yes, okay, tell me.
We really knew we would win because as our motto goes, Semper Primus.
Like
and we always believe God's word that says, even though horses and chariots are prepared for battle, victory comes from the Lord. And it has really worked for us, and you know.
Are you the SU president?
No, I'm not the SU president.
Okay, then we are quoting the scriptures. Anyway. Okay, great. But at the point you guys were sitting on tenterhooks because you just beat them by 3 points. Okay.
You are led by the Spirit.
This is the deputy SU president.
At first, it wasn't that easy, but once they were there, we were praying, and the Holy Spirit led us.
But what does the NSMQ mean to you, students? What does it mean to you?
Well, it means a lot to me. It feels like an achievement. Just being on the platform to experience this, it's a great experience, and I'm just so happy that my school, Semper Primus, we made it this far, and we know that we are bringing the cup.
Patria, pro Patria.
It's a motto.
Pro Patria.
It's a motto.
Posterity will be looking unto us for something good to all.
Ghana Senior High School in Koforidua, they've qualified for the 1/8 stage now. They took an early lead and maintained their lead throughout the competition. Ofori Senior High School and Xavier Senior High School, they were not a match for them.
We're not really excited because we have much more ahead to do, and then we hope for the best in the future.
Okay, so 50 points is not enough for you?
We can still make more points by preparing, and then...
Okay, so you're saying you could have done better than 50 points?
Yeah.
I know your old students made a lot of investment in this. How are they helping the team?
They are doing very great by providing us with the ICT tools and then the router for our research works. We are very grateful, and then I think this will be something that will actually be a form of a gratitude to them.
Okay. The teacher is saying you should call for more. You should call for more. Oliver Twist.
Okay, so we still need their help. We want them to invest more because we are capable of doing something very good in the future.
We are well prepared. You can see we are wearing white. It's not coincident. We were well prepared for the competition. Yes, we were prepared for the. We knew that
this is victory.
Yes, victory.
In Kumasi, you wear white.
Yes, the teachers. We all wear white. Yes, we all wear white.
So on the day you wear white and doesn't go, what would you do? You change into black?
We take it like that.
Okay.
And it was a close shave for St. James Minor Seminary in their preliminary contest in the ongoing 2021 National Science and Maths Quiz. As they escaped defeat at the hands of Samuel Otu Presby SHS, St. James had in May lost the zonal championship to Nkranza SHTS and was hoping to reclaim its glory in this contest. But at the end of the keenly contested 5-round encounter, St. James had only managed a slight advantage to sneak into the 1/8 stage. Past and current students who spoke to my colleague Manuel Cranting after the contest say they need 5 years to fully announce their presence.
What we're seeing is excitement from the boys, past and present students of the St. James Minor Seminary. They just won their contest for the day. Congratulations.
Fine, thank you.
How was it? I mean, when the contest was ongoing, in fact, at the third round, all of you scored 0. That should have put you in some bit of a tight corner, no?
Yeah, that's it. In the beginning, we were afraid, and they deviated from the question. That's why they all got 0. But, as St. James, as the Spirit said, with sincerity, fidelity, and perseverance, we always conquer. And we knew we were going to conquer.
And you did conquer eventually. Good, but talk to me about your performance, really. You are winning with less than 40 points. And St. James is supposed to be one of the biggest schools in the Bono zone. And you're winning with what? Less than 40 points. That's not so encouraging, is it?
That is it. It's very encouraging because, the competition, it was very competitive. And for that matter, sometimes getting the bonuses and other things is a problem. So we did well. We congratulate the boys. They've really done well.
Oh, when we started the contest, we were all panicking due to the training and other stuff they've had at school. But when they started the first round, that's the fundamental concept. They were showing up. And our spirits rekindled.
Of course, National Science and Maths Quiz is produced by Primetime Limited and sponsored by the Ghana Education Service. The broadcast by Joy News is supported by Cowbell, Papa's Pizza, Ace Medical Insurance, Dole Yogurt, DBS Roofing Sheets, and Tampico. We take a break on Joy News Prime. We'll be back with more. Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Dafiamekpo, has served notice of his intention to sponsor a private member's bill to amend the Legal Professions Act 1960 Act 32 to, among other things, redefine the functions of the General Legal Council and remove the Chief Justice as well as other justices of the Supreme Court from the council. This is coming just hours after the Attorney General rejected a resolution by Parliament to admit the 499 students who insist they pass the Professional Law School entry exam but denied examination. Listen to First Deputy Speaker of Parliament Joe Sewusu read out what the House resolved.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All against the motion, say no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The Ghana General Legal Council is hereby directed to proceed and admit all the students who pass in accordance with the advertised rules of the examination. Under the General Legal Council Act, the Attorney General is the minister responsible, and the law says that he may give general directions. I hereby direct that the Attorney General shall ensure that this resolution is carried through. Thank you.
Well, the Attorney General says that resolution is not backed by law. My colleague Ernest Kojomeni joins me with excerpts of the AG's response to Parliament. Ernest, what is the specific response of the Attorney General to the directives of Parliament?
So the AG says, whilst recognizing the general legislative powers of Parliament, except as has been circumscribed by the Constitution, he is constrained by the advice of Parliament. He's constrained that to advise Parliament is devoid of power through the use of parliamentary resolution to control the processes of admission into the Ghana School of Law. The mode of exercising legislative power enshrined in Article 106 of the Constitution does not admit, the resolution. Now, in accordance with Section 13 IE and F of the Legal Professions Act 1960, Act 32, the power to regulate admission of students to pursue courses of instruction leading to a qualification as lawyers to hold the exam may include preliminary, intermediate, and final exam, has been vested in the General Legal Council. He then says that it is his respectful opinion that the provision underscores the capacity of the executive and not the legislature through the minister responsible for the General Legal Council, that is the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, to direct and advise the council on major issues of national importance. And so he's of the view that this resolution is not backed by law.
Okay, so we'll talk shortly about what the South Dai MP told you. But first, Deputy Speaker of Parliament Joe Sewusu insists the General Legal Council is, quote, amenable to the oversight of Parliament. In an interview with my colleague MFR Powell, he warned the AG will be hauled before Parliament to answer why the directive cannot be respected.
Well, I think it is clear. This was a resolution of Parliament adopted, directed at the General Legal Council that they should go by the advertised procedure for determining pass or fail. And by that, we suggested that the 499 or so who had obtained the 50% mark or more should be admitted. I hear people say that Parliament is giving instructions to the judiciary. Let me make it clear that the General Legal Council is not part of the judiciary. The General Legal Council is an executive agency created by Parliament. The Attorney General is the minister who has ministerial responsibility. To that extent, the General Legal Council is amenable to the oversight of Parliament. And that's what we're seeking to do. Parliament did not instruct them to do anything.
Well, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo, MP for South Dai, wants to address these issues of legal education through a private member's bill. What has he been telling you about it, Ernest?
Yeah, so Aisha, this private member's bill essentially seeks, number one, to remove the Chief Justice and other senior justices of the Supreme Court from the General Legal Council on Top Story when he spoke to me. He said this is also to enhance accountability because the judicial collaboration that the General Legal Council has received has been as a result of the having the Chief Justice and all these senior justices of the Supreme Court on the council, and because of the nature in which the judiciary operates, there isn't much responsiveness or accountability on the part of the General Legal Council. He believes that they should be responding to some of the issues in a very swift manner other than what we have seen. Again, he seeks to make sure that the General Legal Council provides accreditation for various facilities, universities, both private and public, to be able to hold these entrance exams once they meet the criteria.
All right, so Kojo Maino with details of what Nelson Dafiamako wants for amendment of the Legal Profession Act. And that does it for the bulletin. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. For more news, log on to myjournline.com. You will get more.